What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Connect Like Minds podcast. I'm your host, Sharice. I interview people making a difference in their communities within their creative spaces. Today's special guest is a Marine veteran, rancher, and a neurodiagnostic technician. Welcome to the Connect Like Minds podcast, Cynthia Meraz.
Hi, Sharice. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
My
I was really looking forward.
All good. My pleasure. Thank you for coming on. We're going to jump right into the interview. So tell everyone where you're from.
Well, I am from Texas. I was born and raised here. I was born in El Paso, Texas, but I grew up in Dallas. So I grew up in Dallas. I'm a Dallas girl.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. I know you grew up in Dallas, but do you still living in Dallas or you live outside of Dallas? Where are you at now?
So right now I live in Ladonia, Texas, which is 1 hour east of Dallas.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay. Not
right.
too far. So is that the country?
It is very much so the country. I am in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just how I like it.
I feel that. I feel that. So are your neighbors like a mile away, like 2 miles away?
I only have two neighbors. I have one neighbor that's like across from me. He actually lives there. And then my other neighbor to the side of me, he only like visits every now and then, so he doesn't stay there. But those are the only neighbors I have.
Now, do you have a big family or is it just like you, your mom, and I believe you have a brother? Would you come from?
Yes. So I consider myself like I have a big family because my grandparents had a lot of kids. They had, and it was just them two. Like them two had 17 kids.
Wow.
So we have a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins. But my like immediate nucleus family is just me and my brother and my mom and my stepdad. So
Okay,
but
okay.
now the family is growing. My brother did have like a whole bunch of kids now. But I love them. I love them so much. They're my favorite little people in the world. I love them.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I love being an aunt. My question to you is how many nieces and nephews do you have right now?
Right now, I have three. So I have the twins that they're gonna be 3 in August,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a boy and a girl. And then my other nephew that he's gonna be 1 in August also. So they're very close in age, which is
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
And
It's
at least
great
for
for
you,
now.
because you can just like shoot in to visit and then shoot out, in and out.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, like, I get all my baby cuddles, all my like, oh, this is so cute, and then I'm like, all right, see you next time. I love you, and they're like, okay, I love you too, Tia. And they're so sweet. They're so sweet. They're so
That's what's
pure.
up. I know you're from the Marine Corps, and so I can only speak to how I met you. Like I wouldn't say you were rough around the edges or a Tom girl, but where did that come from? Were you a Tom girl growing up? Because I saw you as a girly girl when I was in the Marines.
Really? You saw me as a girly girl?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't see you like.
No.
I knew some rough girls. You just weren't one of them. I would
I'll take that as a
say
compliment.
badass. I'll give you that. Like you're a badass. But I can't say, oh man, she you were still walking in your feminine era, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You're badass and feminine.
And
You weren't a
I think
tomboy.
that's very interesting. I think I So like I feel like growing up I wasn't a a like I wasn't a girly girl, but being in the Marines kind of like brought it more out of me because I
Mhm.
wanted to be like I did not want to be a guy but it's like the environment that you were in like you just kind of have to know and to be a good Marine I feel like there is a certain standard and if you don't meet that, then it's really hard for you to keep doing it.
Mhm.
Um, but I wanted to be, I mean, I am, and I wanted to be a feminine person, and I think the Marines really brought that out. They also messed up my wardrobe because I have a really hard time picking out what to wear now. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I wear probably the same shirts and the same pants every
I did that for a while, and then like I don't know, probably within the past 2 years, I have a blazer for every occasion.
Okay, okay. Improving, improving. Okay.
For
A
sure,
blazer
for
for
sure.
every occasion.
So growing up, how were you prior to the Marine Corps?
Prior to the Marine Corps, I mean, I think I was a good kid. I was always like very studious, very, I didn't have like all A's, but I like, school was easy for me.
Yeah,
But I did a lot of things in school. Like I was in a lot of programs. Like I was in ROTC, I was in Young Marines, I would do a lot of volunteer work, and I was in the Dallas Police Explore program. So I was a busy kid.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure my mom didn't like, well, I know my mom didn't like that because she would have to take me or figure out how I was going to get there all the time. But I was a busy kid. I did a lot of outside activities.
That's good. What was your dream job as a kid? Because you were exposed to all these different things and going through different activities.
Mm. Mm, I think I wanted to do something in law enforcement.
I could see that.
Um, yeah, I wanted to do in law enforcement. And I do remember I had like a small period when I was like, I think it was like in fourth grade. I wanted to be like uh, a designer. I had like all these
Wow.
random sheets of like outfits that I drew. I am a horrible drawer, by the way, but so I'm glad that I didn't it didn't go that route.
Yeah, that dream's over, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought it was funny.
What were your plans after high school? Did you want to go to college? Did you know you were going to head to the Marine Corps?
Um, I didn't I didn't know that I was gonna join the Marines, but I joined the Marines because I didn't have anybody in my family that joined the military yet, and I was like, if I'm gonna join the military branch, I'm gonna join the toughest one, and that was the Marines. So, because I didn't want nobody talking mess. So to this day, I'm still the only Marine now. There's other two Army cousins that joined the Army, but I think I joined the Marines because of that. And then the ROTC program that I was in was Marine Corps,
Same.
so they had a big influence on that too. So, which I'm grateful for.
This will go into the next transition of the segment. So, this next segment is called Digging Deeper. And during this segment, I'll ask you thought provoking questions about your career and personal life. So, take us down memory lane. What was the experience like being recruited to go to the Marine Corps?
So it's funny because the first recruiter that I talked to was actually an Army recruiter, and I went and I started the paperwork and stuff, but I remember like the Marine Corps recruiters that would go to our school,
Yeah.
they would be very active in the ROTC program, so they knew who I was. And
Hmm.
when they saw that, they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm signing up to join the military." They're like, why over there? Well, no, come on." And they just like basically like, "No, you're not doing that." Just took me away. But
Wow.
it was good because that's what I feel like that that was for me. But yeah, it was I had a hard time passing my PFTs because
What was
I
the
suck
hardest
at
part of
setups.
that?
I suck at sit-ups. I have, like, no core, middle core, whatever that is, that it's non-existent in my body.
Okay, okay.
It's just, like, so hard. It was so hard. I remember they were like, "Okay, like, this is your 3rd time, like, you gotta keep doing this if we're gonna pass." And I was like, "Okay." It was hard, yeah.
I understand. I understand that. I would just say, like, for me, I just made sure I was like, I like did my sit ups every day. I don't know if you did that in boot camp, but like, even prior to boot camp, I was doing sit ups and runs every day because I knew, like, at first before I went in, I didn't have the times that I wanted. And so that's what I did. What did you do to like help fix that?
Yeah, I had to do sit-ups every night before I went to bed, and probably, like, when I got up, I would just do sit-ups, and I would put my feet under, like, the bed,
Same.
like, hold it on the bed, and then just, like, do as many as I can, and that's literally what my recruiter told me. He's like, "You have to do them every night if you're
Mhm.
gonna wanna go and pass." And I was like, "Okay." I guess I'll do that. But yeah, sit-ups, man.
Were you in the delayed entry program? I was in the delayed entry program because I wanted to stay home for a month since I joined while I was in college. I wanted to make sure I had some time to go hang out with my family before I just left on them like that because they weren't happy that I joined the Marines anyway. Did you have to be in the delayed entry program?
I was in the delayed entry program. So I graduated high school in 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't go into boot camp until 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So almost a year later. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Did they do
Or-
any of those? I don't know what they're called. Those events where the drill instructors came and yelled at y'all?
no, not I didn't have that experience, but I
Mm.
would do that a lot in, like, when I was in high school, they would bring in drill instructors, so I did that. I had that
Okay,
experience.
okay. How was that?
The Like, dealing with drill instructors?
Dealing with the drill instructor as a civilian, because at this time you're not in the military, you're just in ROTC.
Weird, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't take it personal. I mean, it wasn't easy, but I just didn't I've never had an issue like that. Maybe now I do. I think I would have an issue with people telling me what to do now. But back then, no, because I didn't know any better.
Was boot camp anything like you thought it would be? So
I didn't care.
what was your initial thought of boot camp? And then once you got there, was it what you thought it would be?
I think I just had, like, a reality check when I
Ooh, I
got there.
like that.
Like, I had an idea, because you see the movies, the recruiters tell you, and then when I got there, I was like, "Oh, okay. This is real."
For you.
Yeah, it all connected right then.
You know what's crazy for me? It did not connect for me in boot camp. In fact, boot camp was fake to me until we got to the crucible. And then I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. What did I sign up for? Because I was hurting on that rug march back to our barracks that day, or wherever the heck we went. I was like crying. I had never cried through boot camp. Like I was doing the ugly cry. The drill instructor was beside me. I'll never forget her name. Her name is drill instructor Sergeant Carrillo. She's like, "Oh, Pigget, are you hurting? You want to go sit in the EMS truck or whatever the heck she called it?" And I was just like, "No, she is not antagonizing me on this way back from. I just did all this work and you messing with me right now while my feet feel like I'm walking on glass." So yeah, man. I don't know. Like all those, there was a lot of different things that I probably shouldn't talk about live that happened. That I was just like, this got to be fake. Like this isn't. This is. They're really not doing this.
Happening. This isn't happening.
Yeah. But it
No.
really was real the entire time. It was real.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like sometimes I had like an out of body experience
I
when
agree.
you were in boot camp because that's what your brain does, right?
Yeah,
Like to survive, like okay, let's figure out how we can get through this.
agree.
And it just does what it does. But yeah, boot camp. I think it's so cool that we went in and like we did a lot of stuff together.
We
Like we went to boot
did.
camp together, but we were like sister platoons, right?
Right, right.
And then did MCT
Yeah.
together, and then we went to the schoolhouse together,
Yep.
and then we got stationed together, and then we deployed together. I'm like, we just did everything together. It was great. It's great, and it's so
Together. That's what I'm talking about.
yes, yes, yes. So we made it. We did it. We
We
made
did.
it.
That's a big accomplishment right there. I think, and I don't want to go too or go far off on subject, but I used to tell myself like I don't want that to be the last big accomplishment I ever do. So that motivated me to finish school and get my degrees or whatever. Is that something that you felt as well?
Yeah, yeah, I think it was definitely like a stepping stone for me. And I feel like the Marines really makes you believe that you can do whatever you want to do.
I agree.
Take it however you want to take it, but it is so like I just we're just like a different species and I love that. And it's just it was a very good stepping stone for me and I love being a Marine. I love that about me, and I think because I have that, and I was like, okay, if I did this really hard thing, then there is nothing else that I cannot do.
I love
And
that.
sometimes I have to remember my age because we're not there anymore. But yeah,
All right,
I
so
think the
let's
Marine Corps
circle
does it.
back. You made it out of boot camp. Now you're gone past the schoolhouse and you're stationed on Lejeune. How was your experience in the Marine Corps?
I would say my experience in the Marine Corps was bittersweet because I made a lot of great friends and I did a lot of things that I never thought I would have done if I hadn't joined the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
But I there's certain things that I wish I was like, man, I wish that never happened because
Mm-hmm.
it just hurts you as a person. But I did a lot of therapy. I still am therapy, and I am an avid advocate for therapy. I think everybody should go to therapy and find a good therapist.
Absolutely.
And even if you're not going through something like traumatic, or you don't think that you need one, it's always good to have a good therapist that you can ring and talk about whatever you have going on.
I think so
But
too. One of those things, like you just mentioned, that you don't have to go through anything. I think it's good to talk out things, whether it's like your life decisions or like communication in a relationship. Because although you might not be in a toxic relationship, doesn't mean that you're communicating properly to your partner. So I like that
mhm.
you said that. That's great. So, all those things that you just mentioned earlier about how the Marine Corps, there were some things or decisions that you didn't want that you didn't want to happen that happened. We don't have to go into that. Earlier, we talked about offline, we talked about how there were not so many there weren't a lot of role models there for as far as women are concerned. Do you want to explore that topic?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's important. I feel well, first because there's very small percentage of women in the military, right? To start
Mm-hmm.
off. And then you go into the Marines and there's like I think we are getting better at there's more now, but I feel, at least in my experience when I was in the unit that we were in, I feel like I didn't have that female Marine role model that I was like, man, I want to be like her.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really kind of dampered my experience because I really wanted to be, a good Marine and I wanted to excel and I just didn't have that. So it was really hard and it wasn't like the environment, I feel it wasn't always the easiest environment to be in.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just wish it would have been better. That aspect of my military experience would have been better. And I mean, but it's tough, right?
Right.
You can't hold everybody accountable, I guess.
I think, and this is my opinion, I think you should hold people accountable. If you're a leader in the Marine Corps and you're a woman, you should be a leader to everyone. And I've just one issue that I felt like we had in our unit is that one, like you said, there's not a lot of female Marines anyway. And then because we weren't directly under the leadership of certain women, we didn't even get a chance to experience whatever leadership that they were providing to their platoon or, to the people that they were over top of. So in that aspect, I completely agree with you. But I disagree and I say that they should be held accountable because
Okay.
I was totally held accountable. I'm going to talk about this. I have not.
Oh, I remember that. I was like, ooh.
I'm about to.
I was like, what are you doing to her? No, and you know what? I do remember that. I do remember that experience. Like seeing that experience for you, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, but it was so like, I feel like they would like pick and choose who they wanted to like pick at. I don't
They
know. And then
did.
like
They did.
so I was just like, you know what? I'm just not gonna get involved. I'm just gonna do whatever I need to do, and that's it. I'm not gonna do more. I'm not gonna do less. I'm just gonna do what I have to do. But
Yeah, so
it
I'm
was.
going to go on record today and talk about this experience because there was
Let's
like
go
more
for it.
than one. There was more than one, but this one in particular, this was like in 2014. I had a birthday party in where was it? It was at Alexander's. It was in Alexander's.
Mhm.
And I was interning at this radio station and they threw me this big birthday party. And the number one thing that came to
I think
mind.
I remember that party.
Yeah, you was there. Everybody came. It was lit.
Yeah.
And everyone came, but the number one thing that I told the people at the door and the people who actually put on the party, I told them, hey, this is my guest list. And I did not invite anyone below an E4 on purpose because people are stupid. They do dumb stuff. And because of all those experiences of being held accountable for all these different people, and it's not, some of them weren't even my Marines, you know what I'm saying? So like, why am I getting in trouble for these people's actions? Like I didn't tell them to go do this. In fact, I gave a big right. Like I gave the other day, I told y'all what you can and what you cannot do. Like it shouldn't be my fault if you choose not to listen to me. So I gave them that guest list to save my butt because I knew somebody was going to do something stupid. And so we had the party. It was a great experience. I was at this one sergeant's house who I'm not going to name. I was totally drunk, laying on the couch, and I get a phone call, and someone says there were like 4 Marines who got pulled over. They got DUIs, and they had a corporal in the car. Now, why are you holding me responsible for the corporal? Because he was not even my Marine. Let's go there. And we're the same rank at this time. And so you're like, your staff sergeants and gunnery sergeants, they're gonna call you all this stuff. So I'm like halfway drunk, halfway coherent, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna. And I just hung up the phone because I was like, what? I can't do nothing. So I slept the entire day the next day, probably till like 5 p.m. This man named Staff Sergeant Lopez blowed up. I had like 24 missed calls. I don't even know how many voice messages. And he's like, you're gonna get in trouble. Just wait. You're gonna go to the company guns tomorrow. Blah. I'm like, okay. So basically, I'm gonna go see the first sergeant and the commander for all of this. So at the time, what is his name? Captain Four was our company commander. He called me to his office. I really don't remember the entire conversation, but the last conversation or the last part of that conversation, I told him, I was like, well, sir, I didn't invite these people. I gave a safety brief to Field Mess after I left that day. I told them they were not invited, and I cannot not tell them they can't go to the club. Just know that you're not at this club for my party. You're here because you chose to be here. And I was like, and I also have a guest list, sir. So I gave them my guest list, and they left me alone after that. But like you said, they pick and choose. I felt like I wasn't as strong. I didn't have a backbone, so to speak. So they pick and choose who they want to do certain stuff to.
Yes, yeah. I feel like that company was very pick and choose what they were gonna allow and not allow. And I'm not saying I was a perfect person because I am not, but some of the stuff I was just like, why is like it, and it like it really shook me. I was like, because I was like, I feel like I had really good role models before I went into the Marine Corps, and I had like a certain expectation of it. And then I got there and it was like not it. I did have good role models in the Marine Corps, which I am so grateful for.
Right.
And of course the awesome people like yourself and
Oh, thank
my
you.
friends that I made the experience so much more better for me in that regard. But in regards of like role models, it was so it was not it didn't happen for me, which sucks, you know. I feel like maybe like the drill instructors were the ones that were more that I looked up to, which you know,
Yeah,
we only had a
I
short
feel you.
time with them.
I feel you on that. And I think like I told you offline, like everyone's experience is different. And if I didn't have my aunt, who was a master gunnery sergeant at the time, if I could go to her and talk to her about things, I don't and didn't have that community, I would totally say, yo, there were no people I could look up to as far as women or female Marines. But on the other hand, I did have some good leadership, like you mentioned too. Like two people that come to mind, Gunny Belgrade and Master Sergeant Mayfield. They were probably like the best two who were in leadership positions at that time. I can't speak on what
Mhm.
happened after that. I was there.
Right, right. No, no. And I remember like the first day that I got to North Carolina, our duty station, right?
Yeah.
I think he was a staff sergeant at the time,
Hmm.
Master Guns,
Yeah.
and he, and I feel like he was a really good person that I looked up to. And I mean I still follow him every now and then.
Right.
So I felt like he had a very good towards everybody. Like he was also the
Across the
same
board.
across to yeah. And some other people weren't like that. But I was um I do remember having because I always had trouble with my weight
Hmm.
and when I was in the
I
Marines
think I
too.
think
And
all brown and black Marines, we all had issues with our weight because we were
struggle.
scurvy.
Yes, yes. And I was like, what do you mean I'm obese? Like I can run 3 miles. And I was like, what? I don't understand. It was hard. And
Yeah.
I remember like when I got promoted to corporal or when I was going to get promoted to corporal, I I had just been on leave,
Hmm.
okay? I was like, I think I was on leave for like 2 weeks or something. I was like eating all the bad stuff, drinking all the bad stuff, like doing everything you're not allowed to do when you're back at home.
Right.
And then like you they go there and they're like, oh, you gotta weigh in, and if you don't pass your weigh in, you're not gonna get promoted. I was like, what? So, but thank God, and I still to this day I thank him so so much because it was Sergeant Reese. He was my sergeant at the time, and he was the one that told me that, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh my God. So he helped me through it. And so I was I'm pretty sure I passed out in the bathroom one day. that day before the weigh-in, and I just like came back to it. I was like, okay, we're gonna keep going. But yeah, wild times, wild
For
times.
real. And speaking of wild times, what's the craziest or the most bizarre thing or memory that you have that happened in the Marine Corps?
I think the craziest thing that happened to me was when we were flying from Kuwait to Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the Young Marine program before, right? And I had one of my mentors there. He also went into the Marines, and we were getting ready to get on the plane
Mm-hmm.
on the I don't know the name of the plane, but and I saw that kid and I was like, man, that guy looks a lot like his name's Cunningham. I was like, that looks a lot like Cunningham. And I was like, there's no way. There is no way that that's Cunningham. Like, we're literally in the middle of freaking of nowhere in the air. I was like, there's no way that's him. There's no way that two little kids from Dallas are up here in the
Right.
same plane. And it was him. It was him. So I was like, oh my God. And we recognized each other and we talked and stuff. And I thought that was the craziest thing because it is.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
crazy, crazy, literally in the air. Like, there's no way. But yeah, yeah,
Well, speaking
that
of
was
your
crazy.
deployment, how was your deployment?
It sucked.
I
It sucked
heard.
in the it sucks in the regard of like, okay, like I don't know if you have if you experience this too, right? So our deployment is combat experience, but I always tell people, I was like, we were in a combat deployment, but we didn't see any combat. We were
Yeah,
just like
I
in a
agree.
combat zone. So
Well, wait a
I feel
minute.
like,
Pause that thought. We did experience a tad bit of combat when the embassy
okay,
blew up. That was the only
okay,
time.
right. And see, and that's how I feel like I have to explain that to people, like,
Yeah.
because I feel like people don't have, or they have a certain idea of what that is,
Right.
but it's
Right.
not all the way, like,
Agreed.
and I try to be a very advocate of like, just because somebody went to combat doesn't mean that they are, you know, experiencing these very bad symptoms that make like somebody say that they're crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They might have experienced something, but just because they experienced that doesn't mean that they are crazy or that they're whatever they want to use
Yeah.
word to
Yeah.
describe that. Um, so I always have to. I feel like I try to explain that to people so that they know the difference if they're not aware of it. But my experience, my deployment, it was well. First, they took my money. So I was mad about that. I was like, everybody else is getting all this money, and then I'm over here getting it taken out of my check. So I was like, oh, that's not cool. But
And tell us
it was
they were taking your money and explain about the hazard pay and also
yes,
tell
it
us
was
where you were deployed
crazy.
to because
It
I
was
didn't even
crazy.
ask.
So when I was in the military, I was married to another Marine, and he had gone into the Marines a year after I did. So when I was on deployment, he was barely, I think he was still in his schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't physically in a home. Like we didn't have an apartment, we didn't have a house. So they're like, because he's in training, you guys don't get BAH. So they
Mm-hmm.
started taking back all the BAH that they were giving us.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like, but we're still married. Like, we're going to go back to a home eventually. I hope so.
Right.
And it was just like all these crazy loops that I was just like, and then they were like trying to argue with us. And I was like, and we were in different time zones, so we could never like mesh what we needed to mesh out so that it could be cleared out. And it was just very frustrating. Not to mention, you're already away from family, and obviously at the time I was married, so I was away from my husband, and it's just like really shitty. And again, we didn't have the best uh leadership, I want to say, there. So it
Oh,
was
we
like
didn't.
I
That was
feel like
horrible.
it was the worst. It was the worst. But you know what? I did have a good sergeant there, and she wasn't in our. Oh, was she? I think she was. No, was she? Was Sergeant
I don't know what you're talking
Campbell?
about.
Was Sergeant Campbell from Cherry Point, or
Oh,
was
she
she
was
from?
definitely from Cherry Point.
Okay, so see, so she wasn't even from our unit, and she was the only one that I could like. I felt like I could go to her, and like if I had a problem,
Yeah.
which obviously I had a lot of problems dealing with finances and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, it was a good experience, as in like the stuff that we got to do. Like, I don't know if you were. So, were you part of that group that was like Secret Service,
Yo,
like
where we
security
did
forces?
the where we had to go and no, I don't know. I don't know what I was doing, dog. remember, I remember I was guarding stuff on the flight line.
Okay, okay, yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, I was a part of the
Okay,
Secret
that.
Service.
Okay. No,
No,
so
that's
like
so
I
funny.
think.
Didn't we take a class? I was literally talking about this not too long ago. I was like, they told us we couldn't like talk about certain stuff because we had some type of clearance or something.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I remember, but I had no idea what it was. I told you this stuff was fake to me. Like,
No, and that's the thing. Like that's the thing, though. Like you didn't. I feel like you're so young. You don't really know what is actually happening
I
until
agree.
like you get out and you dissect what you did. And I was like,
Right.
oh, it was like, oh, okay. And I mean, but it was overall, it was a good experience. But um, yeah, it was difficult.
Well, we didn't tell everyone where you deployed to. I was also along on this deployment with you. Could you tell them where you were deployed to?
We were deployed to Kuwait and Bahrain.
All right. Now,
That's my
speaking of
favorite
our
part.
deployment too, I I want to talk about this experience because I want to see if you experienced it too. Do you remember the day the embassy blew up? What was that like for you? What was your initial experience and reaction to when you heard all the alarms going off and we had to go to our bunkers? Do you remember that day?
I don't.
You know what
I don't
sucks? I
remember that
remember
day.
that day. And it
Okay,
sometimes
tell
it's a
me
good
tell me what you.
experience and sometimes it's a bad experience. Sometimes it wakes me up from my sleep, sometimes it doesn't. Because I kept telling you it was fake for me, but it was real for me that day. That was like, I don't know, the most I don't know if it was traumatizing. And it when I've talked in therapy, my therapist said it was traumatizing for me. But like I remember being in a bathroom and I came out of the bathroom and I saw all these people on base trying to run to their bunkers. So it kind of reminded me of a movie. But like it was like an out
Mhm.
of body experience to where I'm just looking at all these people like, dang, what's going on, man? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know if you remember this one gunnery sergeant, but he was also a drill instructor. So he came up yelling at me, came to me just like going in like, why don't you have on your gear? Because I didn't have on nothing. I literally just walked to the bathroom with my rifle. I had my trousers on and that's it. Like, and he was like, why you don't have your
Yeah.
gear on? Blah blah blah, just going in on me. And I'm still sitting here like, aren't we supposed to be going to our bunkers now? Like, why is he sitting here? Yeah. So then Biggs like
Why are you still yelling at
for
me?
real. So then Viggs comes over. He's like, "Don't worry about him." You know how she is. She be serious.
Uh-huh.
She's like,
Yeah.
"Don't worry about him. Come on, we gotta get to the bunker." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So I go run with her to the bunker. I have no gear on, just my rifle, and I'm sitting there like, oh shoot, realizing that one, we're gonna have to go and guard something tonight. And two, what if they attack us again? That means I'm gonna die. That was the first that I was like, yo, I'm gonna die today. Like, I don't even know why I signed up to be here. I don't want to be here no more. Like, so it was real for
Yeah,
me.
like it came in realness,
Yes,
came setting in.
it came to me, and I was
That is
just like, yo, I can't believe I signed up for this. This is crazy. I want to go home. I don't want to be here no more. I felt like that day when one of our Marines, I won't say his name, when he was trying to go home and he said he was gonna put his face on the grill. Like, I felt like him. I was like, yo, I need to figure out how to go home. So yeah, that
I
was
remember. I know who you're talking about. I remember
yeah.
that. But you know what's more crazy? Because so I was talking to you about beforehand, like I've been in therapy for a really long time, right? And there's
Mhm.
certain parts that I do not recall at all.
I
And
there's some
because
too.
that is what your brain does. Your brain, it goes into like it shifts. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this to survive. And I do not remember a lot of events that happened. And I know I was there. I was there, but I have no recollection of it, which is bizarre. And but I didn't, like how you say that you talking to your therapist and you're explaining like what's going on, and they're looking at you like that is not normal. Like that's that's not what people deal with on a regular basis. And then you're like, oh, okay. So so go to therapy, people. Go to therapy.
For real. For real.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
how do you believe that your deployment impacted your life? I know there were some bad things. I know there were some good things. How do you feel?
Um, Deployment impacted my life by shaping me into the person that I am today. I feel like it really taught me to be resilient and to really be grateful for the moments that you have when you don't, like, I love Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I love Christmas, and we were deployed during Christmas time, and thankfully we had connection so we
Right.
could like FaceTime your family. And I just remember like seeing all my family and like being together and like, like just enjoying Christmas. And for me not to be there with them during that time now makes me like every Christmas has to be very special because you never know when it's going to be the last time, right?
Right.
Or somebody might not be there the next time. So it really made me appreciate the moments that I have with the people that I love.
That's what's up. I, I don't even know if I should talk about this, but I guess we can. Do you remember when we came back from our deployment? What happened to some Marines that we were deployed with?
Yes, I do remember that. And actually, I think I came back before you guys did, like
Yeah,
a
you
week or
did. You
something
did.
before. Okay. So, and that's another experience that I felt like, because when you come home, you get everybody's homecoming, right?
Right.
I didn't have that. Like
Oh
there
my
was,
God, I did not know that.
yeah. So I just like came back by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I was waiting for you guys to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do remember my now ex-husband, he picked me up from the airport, and or from the where we were getting picked up from.
Mm-hmm.
And we go back home, and this is our new home. So I had never been there before, but this is our home now.
Wow.
And yeah, and then I hadn't seen him since before. So it was so crazy because I saw him before we deployed. That was the last time I saw him, and it was for his graduation for boot camp. So I
Wow.
hadn't seen him since boot camp, his boot camp. and then I deployed, and then I came back, and he was already a Marine, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
and then we were in this new house together, and it was like, but I was in my house because I wasn't, I didn't have that before, so it was
Right.
like, it was a lot of figuring
Adapting and
out, like it was,
overcoming.
yes, yes. But you know what? He did have, I love Christmas, right? So he had set up this huge, giant Christmas tree up for me.
Aww.
And that made it feel like home. Like, okay,
Aww.
we're gonna be all right.
How did you
Yeah.
navigate that time? Because I, like you said, we had a homecoming, you didn't, you just got thrown basically into, life as normal, even though it really wasn't normal to you because you hadn't done that part of your life yet.
It was hard. Like I feel like, and I try to be better at it now. Like I really try, if people are having, like, if I know somebody's like getting out of the Marine Corps and they don't have a plan, or that they're kind of like what confused or what's going on. Like, I feel like it's really important to have a sit down with somebody and be like, "Hey, this is what's going on." And it's okay to feel that way because you haven't experienced that yet. You're learning as you go.
Hmm.
So I yeah, it's, you just gotta take it slow, I guess.
Okay. I respect that. Speaking of plans, why did you decide to get out of the Marine Corps and how was your transition?
I decided to get out because I wanted to be free again. I felt like I was like almost trapped and I couldn't do the things that were making me feel good anymore. Like it was, I feel like the last 2 years of my Marine Corps experience were really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the thing that saved me was having that one therapist that I really connected with. Because she was also I want to say she was a Navy veteran.
Okay.
So I feel like I saw the light at the end of the tunnel to just like keep pushing and keep going forward, and it was gonna be okay. You just have to get through this.
Yeah.
But I got out because I mean, I was having issues with my hip. I was
Hmm.
having issues with my weight. I was depressed because my marriage was not working,
Hmm.
and I just didn't. I was like, I cannot keep doing this. Like something has got to change.
Hmm.
So my ex-husband, he wanted to he wanted to reenlist, so he decided to reenlist, and I got out.
Okay. Did you guys stay together after that, or did you go through a divorce after you got out of the military?
No, so I got out in 2015, and then we got orders to Hawaii. And when I was in Hawaii, I went to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my degree in psychology and a minor in criminal justice. And he kept being a Marine. And then he decided to get out.
Yeah.
And then so he got out and we moved back to Texas. And that's when we got divorced, when we moved back to Texas, when I thought everything was gonna
Okay.
be better, and it was not.
Do you feel
It
like
just
all the
escalated.
do you feel like all the issues that might have arrived or arise or arose, I don't know the proper term right now, but the issues that probably came up during your marriage, could you say like maybe I'm not trying to blame the Marine Corps because I don't know, but do you feel like being in the military had an impact on your marriage as to why you got a divorce?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like being in a marriage is hard, and then being in the military, double Marines, is even
Mhm.
harder. So kudos to the people that freaking made it, man,
Oh, yeah,
because
shout out
it
to
is not.
Solo. I love them. The Solomon. That's bomb.
Yes, I'm like, it's unheard of, right?
Yeah.
It's unheard of, and it sucks, but it's a reality. They always say, what is that saying? Like, we wanted to have a husband, we would issue you one, and we didn't. And
Yeah.
I mean, that was a whole new thing too, right? When we were gonna get married, we were in love and we loved each other. Well, at least I could only speak of
Yeah.
my how I felt.
Yeah.
And, like that was going to be my person. And that's why I wanted to get married. And people, I guess, now thinking of it now that it has happened and we got divorced, they were probably, no, they made it super hard to get married for us, at least in my
Mhm.
experience, because we had to go to take these classes. We had to if they probably would have sent us to go see the Pope if they could have. Like, it's just hoops after hoops. I'm like, man, I don't know if I really anymore. But and but I think they were doing it out of like maybe like they were really trying to
Make
look out
sure
for
you
you,
want
right?
to.
But right, right. But at the end of the day, like everybody is an adult
Mhm.
and they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and just kind of have to let them. But it's true, it's true. Like marriage is hard, and then being a military
Yeah.
couple is even harder. So I think I mean, it did affect our relationship for sure. Was it all because of the Marine Corps? No, like some of it was having to deal with our individual issues and what we were carrying. But didn't make it easier.
For sure. Can you tell our listeners how you got to where you are now? Because you got out of the Marines, you went to Hawaii, you got your degree there, and now you find yourself back in Texas. What is that journey like from that point, from Texas? Well, getting back to Texas to where you are now.
It's been a roller coaster, man. It's been a roller coaster. Definitely ups and downs, ups and downs. I mean, and I feel like I never expected to be where I'm at today. And I feel like that just goes to show like, I feel like if you have the will and the want to keep doing something, then you will eventually end up where you need to be. But it was in the beginning, it was hard, because I mean, I moved back to Texas with a husband, and then, and then it was like getting out all over again, I feel like, because I had gotten out in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
then moved back, and then moved to Hawaii, and I was like, okay, this is, it's gonna be better. And then it just like went back. It was a roller coaster, back down. And I was like, wait, we already did this. Like, can I get off the roller coaster? Take me off. Like, and like, I was back home, so all of my friends were already married with kids, and I was going through a divorce. And
Mm-hmm.
literally, like, I feel like almost all of my best friends and some of my family members got pregnant during that year, during when I was going
Mm-hmm.
through my divorce, right? So it was like everything at one time just sucked. And I was just like, why? What's happening? Somebody throw me a life force over here. But I mean, and then like I was living back at my mom's house,
Mm.
and after being gone for 10 years, going back to live at your parents' house is really hard. Well,
Yeah.
it was really hard for me. Like, because you're an adult and you have your opinions and you've seen things and you've been through things, and they still think of you as the person that's before you left, and it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, to have that conversation with people that you're around with that might not understand what's happening.
Yeah.
um and you have to, like, you know you have to have a good support system, and you have to be willing to work at, like, individually, And I feel like that's the hard part. Like sometimes you don't have either of that, and it makes things harder. But I thankfully my mom has always been there for me, and she's great. I love her. I think we're a lot alike, and maybe that's why we bump heads sometimes, but she's always been in my corner whether I wanted her there or not. And it's helped. It's helped. And she just let me realize, like, whatever you do, your actions have consequences, and she was right. So I I I got my head out of where and started going to work, and I went back to school, and I got this job that I really enjoy doing because I like brains, I like stuff, I like dealing with people's whatever they're going through, and I feel like it has really gave me my purpose again. So
I love that for you.
um thank you, but it was a lot of work.
Well, before we move on with that, I know you said you feel like that's your purpose. One, can you tell everyone the name of your position again? And then what did you major in to get this job?
So I'm a neurodiagnostic technician. That means I do brainwave studies for people that have epilepsy or any kind of head trauma that comes in. I work in the hospital, so somebody comes in and they're having seizures or they're kind of not being themselves. We run a test where we monitor their brainwave activity and see what's going up in there. So I have my bachelor's in psychology, and then when I moved back to Texas, I got my master's in neuroscience, and it was a two year program. And then I did another year specifically for EEGs for the brainwave study, and so that's how I got into doing those testings. And
Was
I
that a
started out with
certificate?
kids.
Was that a certificate or like just added on?
Yes, it's a certificate.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
certificate.
Ooh, sounds very hard.
Kids are hard. And that's what we started out with. So they're like, if you can get through the kids, you can do anybody. And I was like, okay, I believe you. Let's try it. And yeah, kids are like, and I'm talking about because you have like neonates, right? Like the babies and newborns, which I love. They're
Mhm.
so cute. But I mean, and um but then you have like the toddlers and the teenagers. Those are the scary ones for me, at least, like, because they like the kids, like if a 2-year-old doesn't know what you're doing to them, and they're like, don't touch me. So like they start crying, the parents are there and
Yeah.
they start crying, and it's like, okay, I want to cry now too. But it's just like but yeah, it's a good, I love that field. Like I get to see a lot of interesting cases, and I get to meet people from all kinds of backgrounds, and it's very interesting.
Okay. How are you making a difference in the world through your job?
Through my job, um
Which, by
well,
the
I hope
way,
that they get a good
I was gonna say, by the way, I feel like you're definitely making a difference in the world. But continue.
oh, thank you, Piggott.
You.
Oh. I love you too. I love you too. Um, I just, I mean, I treat my patients like if they were my family, and that's how I want them to be treated. So, I try to make a special connection with them, especially if I know, like, if I've been through something that they're going through, so that way that they know that they're not alone.
Hmm.
And then sometimes people don't want all that, and they just need somebody to listen to them. So I try to be that for them. So just
Oh,
try to do a good job.
that's for you doing a great job. What is some advice that you would give your younger self that you wish you would have known when you were younger?
Ooh, this was a tough one. This is a tough one because I feel like we always have a lot of, well, I don't know if you do it, but I do a lot of like, talk, I'm gonna sound crazy right now, but self-talk,
I do.
because I mean, who, there's nobody in this world that you're ever gonna talk to more than you talk to yourself. So whatever you say to yourself is important. So try to say positive things. I think
Okay,
maybe.
I like that. I totally agree with you. First of all, I probably talk to myself more than the average person, so it might be a problem. Like,
Okay, so I'm not crazy. We're not crazy. We're not crazy. This is normal.
yeah, yeah. I'm. It's a normal thing for me to be at work talking out loud about why I feel like something's wrong in something that I just wrote up. Like for real. I know it. Like, man, I can't wait to get out of here. Sharice just do too much. What?
No, no, no. This was needed, man. It's been a long time since we talked to each other.
I know,
A
I know,
long
I know. It
time.
really has been too long. I need to feel like I need to do more check-ins. I used to do a lot of check-ins and then I like kind of fell off. But I'm gonna start doing more check-ins.
We get busy.
Yeah,
We get busy.
it's true.
Busy.
What do you plan on doing in your career next? Do you think you'll ever go to medical school or anything like that?
I do not think I will be to medical school, but I also I do want to continue my learning, my academic studies.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna try to keep pursuing that because I like learning. I like learning, and I like um, being able to keep learning from smart people. So hopefully I can get into a good degree here in
You
Texas
will. You
soon.
will.
If they take me. But I want to do that, and I want to keep helping veterans, being an advocate for veterans, and it's important to get help when we need it.
Very true. Speaking of that, you told me a little while ago that you were working on a project for veterans. Do you mind talking about that?
Which I forgot which one
I'm
we're
not
talking about.
100% sure exactly what it was about. But you were telling me that it was on Facebook. I was like, "Oh man, that's going to be so cool." Let me go back to our messages. And you know the cool thing about this is I can edit this part out.
Okay,
If I'm
that-
just I feel like let me see. Okay. Um Yep, you said I'm leading an apprenticeship in August for the neurodiagnostic field for active duty. Is that true?
yes. Okay, now it's coming back. I have so many open tabs. I'm like, wait, where are we? Which one are you talking about? But yes, I'm very excited. It's a 10-week program that the hospital that I'm working at is doing, and it is specifically for veterans. They get a chance to participate in this 10-week program, and I'm leading the neurodiagnostics um, apprenticeship, and they get to kind of dabble into what we do and what we get to see every day. And I think it's a really good experience because for that apprenticeship is that specific, but we have like one day a week where they can get to go to a different department and get to experience that. So, if they ended up like, oh, I don't want to do neurodiagnostics, but I saw the x-ray machines and I want to do that. It'll be great. And I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that a lot more hospitals um do it in the future.
Okay. Before we get off of your career path or career journey, can you tell us how you got into becoming a rancher? And explain the difference between a rancher and a farmer, please.
Well, I am new at this. Okay, and I tell everybody I was like, I am a city girl. Okay, I just live on a farm, but I love it. It's so, and it goes back to what I told you. Like, y- you will be put where you need to be, right? And I feel like the farming and ranching community, they have a lot of the issues that they face aligns with veterans, interestingly enough. But like a farmer, they grow crops, so they are very attentive to the weather, and like they have to like prepare for things beforehand, and they're always like, oh no, I gotta go back because X, Y, and Z. And I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm back in the military because I have to like manage all this stuff. But it's a really cool experience for me. Um, and I think that it's really important to have these conversations with farmers and ranchers. So back to what you were saying, like for example, on my ranch, I have goats and I raise goats. So I have to feed them. I have to make sure that they're looking okay, that they have their water, their feed. And um, I don't do crops, but I have crops leased out on my property. So a farmer comes and they do the crops on my property. And it's like we know we both exist
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of just let each other do our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I know if we need help, we would be there for each other. So that's another like interesting part that I feel like it's a great community, and I feel like farmers, ranchers, and veterans could really help each other. And even just talking about their experiences,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that resonates with each.
How did you acquire this land? Versus, is it because you purchased your home and that's how you got this?
I think I had a manic episode, and my real estate agent didn't realize. No, no. I wanted land for a long time. I when I was little, my uncle would take me to Mexico during the summers,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandparents had a little ranch out there, and they had horses and chickens and goats.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted that. I wanted that to be available for my family and like my nieces and nephews. So when I saw the opportunity, I was like, let's do it. And thankfully everything fell through when it was supposed to. And um but yeah, it's great. It's really important to have electricity and water nearby. So if you guys are looking to buy land, make sure that you have water and electricity, because if not, it's really expensive to get those things put on the property. But I have so that's where I started my business from. My candle business. I've been doing candles for I think 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're integrating it with agritourism. So people come and they get to create their own candles, they pick out their own scent, and if they want to color it, they get to do that too. And when we're waiting for it to get hard, we go out and we pet and feed and learn about the goats, the boar goats that I have and raising them.
I'm coming. I'm bringing Cupcake with me.
Good. I want you to come. Come on now. I have 2 spare bedrooms upstairs. Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. I'd love for
Can
you.
you tell us the name of your business?
Yes. So my business is Rancho Meraz and Candle Co.
Ooh, I
Candle
love that.
Company.
I love that. And where can everyone go to find out more information about this in case they find themselves an hour outside of Dallas?
Yes, you can look us up on Facebook and Instagram. We do a lot of classes during the weekends, and we also do goat yoga. I
Ooh.
have an instructor that comes out from Greenville, and she's like certified in mental health and trauma. And she comes out and she leads the yoga session, and then you get to play with some cute little goats. So it's really
Oh, I
fun. I
can't
really
wait.
try to
Can't
have
wait.
a good time out here in the middle of nowhere.
Cool, cool. This next segment is called Uncomfortable Questions. And during this segment, I'll ask you either or questions, but then you have to pick one and give a reason as to why you're choosing it. I've been super excited about implementing this segment in my show. This is probably like the third time I've done it, so bear with
Okay.
me.
So pick
Would you
one and then why.
Yeah, so I give you an either or, so you pick one and then you say why you want to choose that.
All right,
All right.
we can do this.
Would you rather live on a beach naked or live in a forest naked?
Beach, naked. There's a lot
Why?
of bugs in the forest. A lot of bugs. I remember
Okay.
I went hiking in Hawaii one time and it was like really foresty in that
Yeah.
area and I got bit by mosquitoes like nobody's business. I was like, take me
I
back to
mean,
the
that's a valid
water.
reason. I just don't want safety instances. Like I can't do
Oh,
it. So I'm choosing the forest every time. Going to the
mm.
gynecologist forever or going to a dentist forever?
I have a very irrational fear of the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not picking that one.
So why would you choose
I don't know. Why would I choose? Because I don't want to go to the dentist.
Okay, okay. I would choose the dentist, and the reason why is because I know that like if you have dental issues, it's gonna affect your mind, and so I'm always gonna choose the dentist.
Good
Marriage
choice.
or a life partner?
A life partner.
Why?
We already did the marriage thing and it didn't work out. So
Well,
we can really do it again.
hashtag life partner. I feel that.
Yes. Applications being taken.
All right, you heard it here. This is an exclusive. Marine Corps or Air Force?
Poor, come on now.
I have to ask.
We are the best.
For sure, for sure. All right. This final segment is called Rants with Sharice. And during this segment, you get to talk about anything that you want or complain about anything you want. You could complain people don't use signal lights. You can complain why people should use washcloths, whatever you want. But then you have to give a solution to our listeners on how they can fix these issues. And I promise it can be anything, whatever you want. So the floor is yours. Share your rant.
My rant
Mm-hmm.
would be no, this one's a tough one.
Oh yeah. What's something you don't like? What gets under your skin? What's a pet peeve? Anything.
What's the pet peeve? Uh, when people say they're gonna do something and they don't do it. That's a pet
Mm.
peeve.
Mm.
Like if you're not gonna do it, don't say you're gonna do it. Just don't say it. Don't say that.
So your solution is just don't say it if you're not going to do it.
Yes. Yes. If you're not gonna do it, don't say you are.
Do you have an experience that comes to mind where someone has told you something and you were waiting on them to do it and they just never came through for you?
Um, yeah, probably like my family whenever they say that they're gonna come out here, and I'm like waiting for them all day, and then they don't show up till the next day. I'm like, I could have, I don't know,
Ran an
had a
errand.
picnic outside by myself. They ran an errand, yes, instead of waiting all day. So I don't know. Be communicative, people. Say what you do, what you say you're gonna do.
I feel that 100%. Are there any other projects or things that you're working on that you'd like to share with our listeners, whether it's a business thing that you have going on or you adding something new to your ranch? Share with us.
Okay, yes, I do have something new. I am part of the Shiro Coffee Club, and it is owned by Melissa. She is also a veteran, and she picks, I think, like 8 or 10 female veterans each year to be on her coffee bags, and she gives a little bio about everybody. And this year I was lucky and fortunate enough to be one of those veterans. So, drinking some coffee, Shiro Coffee Club. It's really good coffee. I live off of coffee. And yeah, it's a great cause. I think people should know stories, veteran stories, and specifically women veterans. It's important.
That is what's up. How can they support this organization?
You can go to Shiro Coffee Club, and then you will see my beautiful face on her website. And you can click on it and you can order however many coffee bags you want. There's also other veterans there, and their stories are on there. So there's all branches of veterans sharing their stories.
Okay, that's what's up. Before you go, can you please share your social media handles with our listeners?
Yes, you can find us at Rancho Meraz and Candle Company on Facebook and Instagram. I think we have a TikTok too, but I'm not a big fan of TikTok.
I feel that. Me too.
I'll watch him, but I'm shy.
Well, Meraz, I'm sorry, Cynthia. I can't be calling you by your last.
No, Meraz, because I call you Pigget. It's
Well,
that's
Meraz,
what it is.
thank you so much for coming on the show and being vulnerable. And I'm glad I can make this a safe space for you to talk about your journey and your business. So please come back.
Yes, thank you for having me, Pigget. I'm so proud of the work that you have done all these years, and I've seen you through them. So I am very proud of you, and I am so happy that you get to do what you always said you were going to do, and
Thank
you're doing
you.
very good at it. So
Thank you
thank you.
so much. I appreciate that. And thank you for listening to Connect Like Minds.